Hi, I'm Professor Naoto, Master Sharpener at Knifewear. I have been investigating the best way to sharpen knives, and I think I have come to the conclusion. Today, I am going to share how. Jokes aside, I have been working for Knifewear for the last 10 years, and I have been developing my own skill set and talking to those master sharpeners and knife makers in Japan, including Masashi Yamamoto-san, one of our favorite blacksmiths, as well as very famous Masashi Fujiwara-san from Mie Prefecture. This technique of sharpening usually happens very naturally for the knives with so-called distal taper on the spine, which basically means it has taper from where it attaches the handle towards the tip. But I would actually like to exaggerate it a little bit, and you can apply this technique for all other knives as well. I call this sharpening technique 4D sharpening, 4-dimensional. Most people, when they are sharpening it, they only focus on this X and Y axis. Some people focus on also depth, how thick, that's the 3-dimension. My sharpening also focuses on the 4th axis, which is time. So what's 4D sharpening? First of all, I have to explain what the knife geometry looks like in 3D. Look at this model here. Japanese knives with distal taper on the spine like this has different thickness on the spine. The bevel angle at the heel and the bevel angle at the tip is quite a bit different. I do exaggerate this a little bit more further, making the angle difference a little bit more. Really good thing about this type of sharpening is that when you're doing the push cut, it enters the food much nicer, and as it reaches towards the back of knife, it will start to separate the food a little bit nicer. Also, for those of you who like to use the tip as cutting into onions like this, thinner tip will come so much handier. Also, the heel, thicker beveled heel makes the edge so much stronger. So you will be able to use the heel a little bit more rougher as well, which in turn, actually, when you're cutting in a rocking motion, that makes totally sense because the heel part is the part that touches and have a lot more pressure than any parts of the knife. So sharpening this way will make future sharpening so much easier because we have already created the bevel really nice. And also to keep this shinogi line nice and straight as well. And also functionally, because you're sharpening these different places for slight different purposes, it will keep its edge a bit longer than sharpening in a regular way. And that affects the 4th dimension, time. Now I'm going to show you how you can do the 4-dimensional sharpening. Okay, let's get started. This knife here has really nice distal taper from the heel to the tip. And the shinogi line is very nicely even. That means it's pretty much the same height from the heel to the tip. I'll exaggerate this different angle from the bevel of the heel to the tip. What I'm going to start is start from the heel. Very at the heel, with my 2 fingers, I press it down as close to the edge as possible, and even because I'm exaggerating it, I will give tiny bit of angle. And as I go towards the tip, I will move my finger positioning. So from here, I will do a little bit lower, lower, lower. And at this point, I do dead flat, like just really one angle right here. And at the tip, because I want to actually have this line carved up tiny bit, I will aim to sharpen this shinogi line, which not only just press it down at the shinogi, but don't worry, I will actually have that there's tiny bit of space at the edge here. so that it touches right here. If you keep going longer, this shinogi line or this bevel line will start to come upwards. This stone here is Naniwa Diamond 400 stone. This is one of the best stone if you're going to do a really lots of heavy lifting. It does not leave very deep scratches like say Atoma diamond stones like these, but it acts like a regular sharpening stone but cuts much faster because abrasive itself is diamond. So this here, only this part has been about the 5 millimeters at the tip has been touched on the stone, and it starts to widen as it comes down here. So my goal is to have line like this, which takes a little bit of a work. On the other side, I always like to change my hand. It keeps this very similar consistent finish, and easier for after the polishing, easier to do this way, but you can always keep your knife on your hand and do this. It's not a problem. Fast forward, we do have a sharpening wheel to speed up the process, and we've done it on this particular knife because it actually shows more dramatic visual effect, I guess, on this knife. So I've done it the other side like this. If you look, you see the whole bevel has actually come up quite dramatically in comparison to this side. And also the sharpening angle here, it changes. So it's much more steeper here and goes upwards here. My purpose is really to sharpen the tip really flat and convex at the heel part, so that gives you a little bit more strength. And you can certainly do this process using the regular whetstones. I'd recommend to get something more like a very coarse and fast stone like this Naniwa diamond stone, but we use the wheel to speed up the process, especially for customers. That was my 4-dimensional sharpening. Hope you learned something about this special method of sharpening today. If you want to learn more about polishing from this on, check out all other videos in the description. Thanks for watching.